Howdy. Talking to you from places unknown, somewhere in the country. I'm traveling. Not to be mysterious, I'm traveling. People always ask me what I do, why I'm doing it, and details. So I do this about once a year. I'm going to try to keep it short, shorter, the Reader's Digest version of what led me to do what I'm doing and why I do it, and you know my motivation. After college, I got to LA, and well, I won't go into the details. Basically, I had a 20-year career in the movie business. I was in international distribution, sales, representation, and I started producing movies about halfway into my career. I lived a wonderful life. Lived on the beach, had all the nice things, partied like a rock star. Got to live 10 lifetimes. I did things people dream about, and it was great for the most part. The last 3 or 4 years started going downhill for me. I was in a really bad relationship with a woman who we were producing movies together, and it was not good. And I was drinking myself to death. So after about almost 20 years, I said, I've got to get out and find something new or I'm not going to last. So one of us was going to be in jail or dead. So I left LA, moved back to Boise, and started to try to figure out what I'm going to do at 43 years old. So I was in a very dark place. It wasn't about a year. I was back in Boise about a year, and thanks to many friends and family and a lot of support, I quit drinking. I was going into a real dark spot. A lot of things I won't go into, suicidal, depression, but I was drinking myself to death among other things. So I had to quit that, and thanks to some wonderful support, I did. So I got sober in the North End in Boise, Idaho, and I've been sober about 16 years now. Um, uh, and Met my best friend and business partner Wendy, who we decided to start a business up. So this was after I pretty much shut the door on my film career, film and music and all that. I had to find something new, so we started working on my health. And through that, we came upon a business plan of maybe we might have something here to help people with their health. So basically at 45 years old, around 44, 45 years old, I figured I not only changed my course direction in life 180 degrees, but I was reborn. A lot of miracles, that's another story of getting sober and things. But I figured out what my true passion in life was at 45. Really, it was. And that's to be a teacher and healer. It took me that long to get there. But I understand now because I had to go through all that stuff. And I experienced a lot of things in life. I joke with people that I pretty much during my LA days, and I was one that always wanted to go do something, wanted to try something. I was always someone who thought I better walk in someone's shoes before I criticize. So I tried a lot of things that got me in a lot of trouble. But I half jokingly always say I did everything but the heroin and the gay thing. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just I've done a lot in my life. So I didn't realize until I got to be about 45 and started becoming a teacher and coach and healer and teaching holistic health that this was my true passion. It really was, because not only did I love it, but I was able to pull from many, many things in my life that I had done, and I could say from experience, no, you don't want to do that. Let me tell you something, or here's what will happen if you do that. So we moved to Texas and started. No one was really doing what we had at the time, and so we were kind of throwing stuff up against the wall, and we got a business together, and it worked. And we started in San Antonio, and then we went to Houston. So we basically started with a holistic wellness company targeting men and their weight loss, and we did that because there was nothing really for men out there. There was a lot of Weight Watchers and things geared towards women. So we were back then. We were doing the primal, the paleo, the keto, the intermittent fasting. There were a lot of people doing that around the world, but it wasn't quite mainstream like it was now. So we were quietly doing our thing. Teaching people alternative health styles, trying to get them off their meds. And as they were going down and losing weight, we had a 95% success rate. Our track record speak for itself. So as we were moving forward on that, I was going down my own rabbit holes of healing myself from the damage I did over those years in Los Angeles. And I took up yoga, which I teach now, meditation, what I call a lot of the metaphysical things, old healing techniques that what's old is new again. So as we were teaching these old natural holistic ways, I was learning about native Indian remedies in healing. From India, they've been doing stuff for thousands of years. There's a reason it's still around. Chinese herbal medicines. I learned about Reiki. I'm a Reiki master, which is an energy healing, meditation, as I mentioned, and a lot of alternative practices. So not only was I healing myself during this time, but I was building up my bag of tricks or my bag of tools that I can reach in anytime somebody comes to me and needs help. I have a wide variety of things to help them with of experience, everything from basic nutrition to the far out woo-woo metaphysical and everything in between. And I continue to do that to this day, learning all about things. So that was my motivation for years, and I truly loved what I was doing. We loved what we were doing, and we moved everything online about 8, 9 years ago. My time frame always gets off, but of what we're because we were coaching and counseling only in this business, and we were doing well. But we moved everything online, which enabled us to have a lot more freedom, and both we were looking at doing this company as, we wanted our lives too, not just working 100-hour work weeks like most of us did in previous careers. So when we moved everything online, I started traveling more. And I had about 7 years ago, I left Houston, maybe 6, again, hazy. And I left and started traveling. And so there's so much to see in our old backyard, and I love traveling. But part of my traveling is I have fun, yes, but it's not a coincidence that people come across my path that may need just an ear. Everybody's talking, but nobody's listening. Some people just need to be heard. People need help with maybe addiction problems, with weight loss, with X, Y, or Z, and I'm here to help them. And I loved it. And then COVID hit. Oh, I should say before that, always in the back of my mind, I wanted to help my parents. I've always wanted to do that my whole life when they get older, and I fortunately had the flexibility to do that. So about 3 years ago, my father had a stroke, and that brought me back to Idaho more. I was still traveling, but it brought me back on a more semi-permanent basis, Twin Falls, to help my dad with recovery. We were getting into therapy, and basically I was doing caregiving. And he had about a good year, and then he passed away. So I learned all about caregiving, which, by the way, is a whole other level, and I highly recommend it. But you certainly learn a lot. And my mom is 90, and she's in great health. As a matter of fact, her and I are going to Ireland in a couple of weeks. But it's just, I'm spending a lot more time in Idaho just to be there to help, because I'm grateful that I can give back. And I'm still traveling, though. Not maybe full time as I was, but when I'm out there traveling, I'm helping coach and teach and do all these sort of things. Now, COVID hit, and then that brought everything I knew to another level. And so a lot of people, and I've always sort of been a question guy. Why is this? Why is that? I've never trusted the government. I've never trusted powers that be. I've always wanted to know why. And I was someone that researched everything. Even if it came to politics, I researched the right, the left, and everything in the middle and all the fringe, and came to an answer that may work for me. And that's what I did. I never took anything blindly. So when COVID hit, it was a hill I decided to die on. And turns out, and that made me, along with millions of other people, a conspiracy theorist. And maybe I was being called a conspiracy theorist before that because I was teaching alternative health practices that weren't embraced by mainstream. People called me a witch doctor when I was teaching intermittent fasting and paleo. Now that is mainstream. Not to say I was ahead of the curve, but I have been in a lot of ways. So all this came, and then I started really emphasizing my truth, how I see my truth, especially when COVID hit, and then all these other things on many levels that if you follow me, you'll see what I talk about, everything from politics to what's going on in the world to chemtrails. And people who maybe thought I was loony 4 or 5 years ago with COVID now are starting to get hold of me and ask me questions. So I'm not that far off. Maybe you still think I am, but I'm not trying to justify anything. I'm just trying to explain where I'm coming from. So this wasn't all just random that happened. This all came from my previous background, and it makes perfect sense to be where I am, why I am doing now. And most of what I do now, even when I'm helping people, I don't charge a lot. I make money in other ways and some of this, but this is my service work, and this is what I was truly put on the world to do, the earth to do, and I know that in my every part of my being is to help what I believe is a transition coming in the world, and a lot of people are waking up right now. So I hope I got through all that. It's a wonderful journey. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. Anything that comes to me, even including a relationship, which I certainly wouldn't mind, but that would be all gravy. So I'm not wanting for anything to be complete and be happy. I am perfect, and it gets better every day. And I talk about this and teach this a lot in my other stuff. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Hope that brings you up to speed. I'll be talking more about these things down the road. Have a great weekend. Bye.